It is the 136th consecutive sellout here at the Dome in downtown Minneapolis. The Vikings and the Buffalo Bills today. Buffalo won the flip of the coin. They have deferred. Ryan Lindell will be kicking off from Buffalo at the 30. And deep back, and this is a change, Joe Webb. He is a rookie out of UAB, the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year, inactive all season as the third quarterback. But because Harvin is out, he will return the kickoff. The 4-7 Minnesota Vikings. The 2-9 Buffalo Bills, and away we go in Minneapolis. Webb from the 5. Finding a bit of a seam, and that brought down on the play by Jairus Byrd, a 30-yard return. The Viking offense led by 41-year-old quarterback Brett Favre.
Yeah, and Brett Favre understands the current situation. You talked about it at the top with Steve Hutchinson out. Look for Brett Favre to get out of the pocket a little bit more with some bootlegs, some rollouts, and a lot of play action to get ball down the field in the passing game.
No interceptions last week against the Redskins. He's got it 1st and 10 from his 35. Adrian Peterson, both home with the block, and then jumping on his back is Stroud and Kelsey. It's a gain of 6. He plows his way to the 41. Offensive line health issues continue to be a story for the Vikings. Rookie Chris DeGear makes his first NFL start for Hutchinson at the left guard. And we have filled you in on Peterson. Harvin is out. Bernard Berrien will take his place there. And we just saw Joe Webb, who, by the way, is at the bottom of your screen as a receiver on 2nd down and 4. Chris Kelsey is all over Peterson, throwing him for a 1-yard loss. Back to the 40-yard line, and now the Buffalo D. It's a 34, and Spencer Johnson is back after missing 2 games with a hamstring issue. Undrafted Antonio Coleman makes his first NFL start, replacing the injured Reggie Torpor. And in the secondary, Drayton Florence was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. It will be 3rd and 5. Wilson comes in as another defense back for the Buffalo Bills. They've got 6 back there, including Reggie Corner. Rolling out like Solomon talked about. Favre. Hit as he throws. That's an interception. It's picked off by Florence. Another pick, the 18th for Brett Favre, who is down and in pain. Boy, was he drilled from behind.
They tried to, and they tried to get him out of the pocket, tried to get him out of on the edge. I think Brett's got to get rid of the ball. He got a sense that the pressure is breaking down. But it was Drayton Florence who told us when we met with him last night. You see the hit from behind, ball goes up in the air. He said, we are going to have a chance to get some interceptions against Brett Favre. There is the hit coming from behind, and Brett Favre never saw him coming. It appeared as though it was number 52, Arthur Moats, who's starting today's game. There's a hit closing in from behind. Look at that.
So Florence gets the pick, his 2nd of the season. A look at Favre, and now the offense with Fitzpatrick and Jones in motion, and that is an end around. Donald Jones, gain of 2, down to the 42-yard line. The Buffalo offense led by quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's thrown a touchdown pass now, Solomon, in 12 consecutive games.
And playing indoors on a fast track where it's very comfortable and an environment conducive to throwing the football. Don't be surprised if Ryan Fitzpatrick has a really big day against a depleted secondary for the Minnesota Vikings.
2nd down and 8. Block at one of the tackles. That is an incomplete pass going for the rookie free agent Jones. Let's now take a look at the offensive line. Right guard Eric Wood will miss another game with an ankle. So Urbic will take his place, his 2nd consecutive start. A lot of eyes on Stevie Johnson. We talked about him in our open.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Everyone's going to watch to see how he's going to bounce back. But in the 4th quarter, he has played well outside of last week's game where he has more catches in the 4th quarter than any wide receiver in the National Football League.
5 defensive backs, 3rd down and 8. Good block by Fred Jackson. Will be short. Knocked down. Great pursuit. Greenway among a couple over there making the stop. Latroy Guyon, loss of 2. They'll put him back at the 42-yard line.
Wow. They were bringing everybody at Ryan Fitzpatrick, trying to force the early throw. You can't allow him to sit in the pocket and just pick you apart. So they're going to blitz a little bit more than usual. But I think if they're going to win this game, talking to the Minnesota Vikings, they've got to get pressure on Fitzpatrick with their front 4 down line.
Ray Camarillo is deep back. He was a preseason trade with the Miami Dolphins, and to punt the ball, Brian Moorman. Well, you know kickers love punting indoors, especially this time of year. They're caught 10-yard line by the ex-Dolphin and ex-Charger. 32-yard punt, well placed. Favre on the headset, talking upstairs, and they're looking at him right now. Jackson is in. More on that when we come back. Favre took a hit. They're looking at him on the sideline, as you can see. And in now, Tarvaris Jackson, 5 years out of Alabama State, from the 11-yard line. He's got it 1st and 10. Adrian Peterson, Kelsey there to bottle him up and knocks him down. Back at the 7 and a loss of 3. One more look at the hit on Brett Favre.
Yeah, they wanted to roll out, obviously trying to get away from the pressure, to buy a little bit more time. But watch when he slides back inside. So he doesn't see Moats coming from behind. He plants Brett, and you can see he's wincing in pain on the ground. Those things hurt a whole lot more when you're 41 years old.
Isn't that the truth?
Brett told us that getting old is, well, it's not a good thing.
2nd down and 13. Shanko, changing the pronunciation of his first name, picks up 3, belted out of bounds by Leotis McKelvin at about the 10-yard line. Now, how many there's a good shot of Favre. How many first-team snaps do you think Jackson took in practice this week or even over the last couple weeks?
It's hard to tell. At the end of the day, you know, Brett is an aging guy. I don't know that he's taken every single rep with the number 1s. We watched practice on Friday. He took every single one of them. I would have to believe that you need to find out what Tarvaris Jackson is going to give you. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. Over the next few weeks, they need to take a look at it.
Good point. 3rd and 10. Multiple numbers in the secondary. There's a flag. It's on the Bills. Going deep for Rice. Oh, what a catch! At the 45. Beating McKelvin. They'll count it. The flag was on Buffalo. A 46-yard strike to the 44 of the Bills.
I think that's exactly what you have to do if you're Tarvaris Jackson. You see one of the defenders for the Bills jump off sides, take a shot down the field. You see the hand.
Defense, number 99. That penalty is declined. The result of the play. 1st down, Minnesota.
You saw the hand of Sidney Rice go up to Tarvaris Jackson. Nice throw, by the way, coming off the bench and really being inserted into this game unexpectedly. It shows that he has been working on his game. That's a really good throw.
John McCargo is on the defensive line. He's been inactive all season for Buffalo. It is 1st and 10. They empty the backfield with Gerhardt, who's in the game. Jackson, the blitz, and down he goes. Posluszny, unstopped up the middle, getting some help from Arthur Moats. That's a sack back to the 46 and a loss of 10 on the play.
Wow, look at it coming right up the middle. And Edwards, George Edwards, the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, sensing he has a less experienced quarterback. And there you see Posluszny right up the gut, putting pressure on Tarvaris Jackson. He's going to have to do a better job in his pre-snap reads, determining when Edwards is going to dial up some of those blitzes.
Johnson, McCargo, and Carrington on the defensive line. 2nd down and 20. Gerhardt in the backfield. Kenny with a nice block that opens the door. This is what this kid can do so well. He's down to about the 45-yard line. Hit on the play by Drayton Florence. We had the interception in the first possession. It's a gain of 9.
Oh, that was a really good read. Tarvaris Jackson understands he had what we call cover 2 man. When the defender see Posluszny, you turn your back to the quarterback. He's going to take off and run because the underneath defenders are not able to react. They're so glued to their man in coverage that they don't see him taking off and running. So he brings a little bit something different in that regard than Brett Favre.
Jackson, who was a 2nd-round draft choice. Gerhardt at his side, 3rd former Chicago Bear near the 25-yard line. They had Whitner among a couple. Reggie Corner was over there for the Buffalo Bills, and now it's 4th and 11. And here comes the punting unit for Minnesota.
Yeah, and I think Tavares Jackson, you know, if you put a little bit more touch on that ball, drop it in. You see Darrell Bevell, the offense coordinator, talking to his young quarterback, saying, we had the guy open, you just got to drop it in there. A little bit more touch, putting more arc on the football.
C.J. Spiller is back at the 10. Chris Kluwe, one of the best net punters in the NFL. Great hang time, fair caught, 12-yard line, hang time of 4.9. Well placed, 32-yard punt. Another look at Ryan Fitzpatrick out of Harvard. His team and the Vikings scoreless.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. HP. Hit print brilliantly. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Brett Favre has been knocked out of this game. We don't know if he's going to return. Questionable. They tell us from the sideline a shoulder injury, which sets up the second possession for the Buffalo Bills after 6 plays. Punt by Minnesota on the 13, 1st and 10. Jackson. And brought down on the play by Madieu Williams, who did not start today. Gain of 5 to the 18-yard line. The Viking D. Vikings without Ray Edwards has a high ankle sprain. Brian Robinson will take his place. Chad Greenway, one of the best in the business. A Pro Bowl season, leads Minnesota in tackles again. And in the secondary, Tyrell Johnson got the start. Madieu Williams just made the stop. A coach's decision to start Johnson. 2nd and a long 4. Martin, the tight end, in motion. Jackson. Bounce. Tripped up on the play by the ex-Buffalo Bill first-round pick back in '99. Antoine Winfield on a gain of 3 to the 21.
And now we get to see Ryan Fitzpatrick, this Buffalo Bills offense, and, you know, 3rd and 1. It's going to be interesting to see how much they put the game in his hands and how much are they going to try to run it against a real formidable run defense of the Minnesota Vikings. I know they want to achieve balance. Chan Gailey told us that they have to be able to run the ball more effectively. I think it helps their passing game.
5 defensive backs, 3rd and 1. To the near side, and that is caught. Stevie Johnson, 29-yard line. And on the play, as he was covered by Asher Allen, it is a pickup of 7. It is a Buffalo first down.
Ryan Fitzpatrick told us that he and Stevie Johnson have a great relationship. He said he's going to go back to Stevie Johnson. It was amazing how the coaches, the team, and Fitzpatrick told us that the community had poured out its support for Stevie Johnson. He has to have a bounce-back game to get back on track. I know he said in his press conference he'll never get over it, but in this game he has to get over it.
Andre Reed was one of the guys that called him, talked to him, as did Kurt Warner. Spiller in the backfield, 1st down and 10. Oh, and he's hit Jared Allen. That's a loose ball. There's no whistle. It is a fumble. It's picked up by Winfield. He's down to the 13-yard line. How about that? Antoine Winfield, a former Buffalo #1 pick. Allen jarred it free. Fumble by Fitzpatrick. And look where the Minnesota Vikings are.
You hit our quarterback, we're going to hit yours. Take a look. We're working against Demetrius Bell. And there you see the blind side hit on Fitzpatrick. Ball comes out. The Vikings are so alert. You see it coming from the blind side. He comes underneath Bell to hit Fitzpatrick. Ball comes out. The Vikings were very alert to pounce on it, clear on the other side of the field.
Demetrius Bell have been pretty good this season without giving up any sacks.
Oh, absolutely. We told you that this was a formidable defensive front for the Minnesota Vikings. And Jared Allen, who's been coming on as of late the last couple of games, I think they're trying to...
Buffalo is challenging the rule on the field of a fumble.
Fumble, forward pass. That means was the hand coming forward when the ball came out.
They'll take a look at that, and we'll come back to Minneapolis after this.
Welcome back as we take a look at the hit by Jared Allen on Ryan Fitzpatrick. Is it a fumble? Was the hand moving forward when the ball came out? Rock it back and forth. Let's take a look at it. When contact is made, the hand's going back, but then I think Fitzpatrick smartly feigns as if he's throwing it. and starts that hand moving forward when he feels the pressure. Go ahead and show it. See, he's hit there, smartly getting that hand moving forward for the ball to come out. And with it being projected toward the sideline, you've got to go ahead and rule that ball was, at least his hand was moving forward when the ball came out. So they may rule that it was an incomplete pass. I think it's too subjective to try to make this call, but I think Ryan Fitzpatrick may have saved himself from committing a turnover there.
Jerome Boger is our official today, referee in Minneapolis.
After reviewing the play, it is an incomplete forward pass. The quarterback released the ball at the 22-yard line, and it hit at the 21.5-yard line with his arm going forward. It will be second down at the 29 3/4-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 6:59.
So that's in there is Brett Favre, who was up and throwing moments ago, took a hard hit, shoulder injury, and Jackson took his place. We'll see if Favre, making his 297th consecutive start today, is ready. Over 300 games he's played consecutively. Buffalo has it. He's only got 7 sacks this year. Does Jared Allen? He's averaged 4. Oh, look, they're going to take him off the field. He's gone. At least for right now, he is gone. He is throwing. They've made the determination, at least for now.
They're going to take a look at something. You know Brett Favre. Anything about him he wants back in the game, but they're going to have to take a look at, hey, let's face it, he took one heck of a lick.
It is second down and 10. 5 defensive backs for the Minnesota Vikings. Jackson. Pursued by this defense. Abdullah comes through from the secondary, brings him down with no gain on the play. Now Favre comes into this game, left heel stress fracture, ankle fractures, and a shoulder injury that has bothered him the entire season.
And he's been a little ill, too, over the last 3 weeks. He told us that. He says, this thing, we can't find out what it is. Is it a sinus infection? Is it allergies? We don't know what it is, but he has been under the weather for several weeks here.
Frank Walker is the extra defensive back for the Minnesota Vikings. It is 3rd and a long 9 for Ryan Fitzpatrick. With Ganther back there to block, Fitzpatrick. He's got Jackson. Oh, he fumbled the ball. It's a drop. Incomplete. Incomplete pass. Coverage in the secondary. Abdullah was there. Also coverage by Asher Allen, number 21. A drop. He had 4 last week. There's his first today.
Well, let's take a look at it, because what a heck of a throw. Staring down the blitzing defense for Fitzpatrick. There it does hit the hands. Now let's see if, I think that's a drop. We have to credit that a drop, because Allen did come in and claw away, but that ball was coming out before Allen made complete contact. But we have to give the defender a little bit of credit, because he was clawing away at the ball.
Catchable ball, though, and a drop for Stevie Johnson. Here's the punt by Mormon, his second today. Camarillo is back. Terrific hang time. Fair caught, 26-yard line, a 43-yard punt. More of Jackson coming up, taking the place of the injured Brett Favre here in the Dome.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint, the Now Network. And by Kay Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with Kay.
A little over 8 inches of snow fell. The ball fell out of the hands of Stevie Johnson moments ago from the 27-yard line. Gerhart in the backfield, 2 tight ends. 1st and 10 for Jackson and the Minnesota offense. Here with the block and Kelsey with the tackle. Up at about the 32-yard line on a gain of 5 by Toby Gerhart.
And going back to Stevie Johnson, if this offense is going to take flight in this game against the Vikings, Chan Gailey said, hey, we're going to continue to support him, but, him dropping the ball, if that's a trend that continues, then we are going to have to address it. So they want to stick with him. They want to keep feeding him the football, but Chan Gailey, I don't know that you want to test his patience, guys.
Antonio Coleman, by the way, making a start today, out. Moats is in. He's out for the game, they tell us. Coleman with the knee injury. 2nd down and 5. And Gerhart tries to climb his way into the defense and picks up about a yard on the play. At the bottom of the pile, you saw Aiken Adele.
Toby Gerhart had a really good day last week, and he's a rookie. And career highs in terms of touchdowns, yards, even attempts, had 22 carries. And it's interesting, 6 run plays called so far in the game by the Vikings, only 17 rush yards against this defense.
Maben comes in on the defensive line. 5 in the secondary, 3rd down and 4. Penny with the block. It's picked off on the play. He's going to go in for 6. Drayton Florence has done it once again for the Bills.
And throw, great pick by Drayton Florence. Second interception of the game. When you throw this out cut, if you're the quarterback, Tavares Jackson, you've got to lead the receiver. You underthrow it, and it's going to be a pick 6. Great break on the ball by Drayton Florence. Greg Camarillo was the intended receiver, and you can see Tavares Jackson did not put the ball on the front side shoulder. See, he throws it on the back shoulder, and the veteran that is Drayton Florence, he plays it all the way and picks it off, returning it for a touchdown.
They were going to Camarillo. Florence gets the interception. That's his 2nd today. The 3rd pick 6 thrown by quarterbacks for the Vikings this year, with the extra point making it 7-0 Buffalo. 4.5 to play in the first. Favre is out. His replacement has just thrown a pick 6. Tavares Jackson taking the place of the injured Brett Favre has just thrown his interception to Drayton Florence. His 1st touchdown via interception. His 2nd interception today. And the Buffalo Bills lead the Minnesota Vikings in deep back Albert Young. He's out of Iowa. Climbing into a pile of defenders. Cordo on the special teams makes the tackle on a 24-yard return.
I want to show you how they fooled Tavares Jackson. Look at Drayton Florence. He's the outside receiver. He's going to take any out cut, and then the inside corner takes an inside cut. Now, here's Camarillo. He's going to start here, but then go outside and then watch the pick. See, he zones it off. And then Drayton Florence takes the outside breaking receiver and breaks on the ball. Tavares Jackson was expecting man-to-man coverage as if Drayton Florence was going to follow Sidney Rice. He didn't. Stayed outside, jumped the ball, and stole one for an interception.
1st and 10 into the nickel. Jackson. Sidney Rice. Coverage on the play by Leotis McKelvin. It is a pickup of 13 yards on the play to the 43-yard line. One other note as we take a look at this once again.
Well, I believe that they are doing a really good job of trying to disguise their coverages on the back end, not giving a pre-snap read to Tavares Jackson. That's where the inexperience can come back to haunt this offense. And George Stewart, the defensive, or I should say George Edwards, the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, he's well in tune as to who's playing quarterback right now for the Vikings.
He looks like George Stewart. You're right. You were good. 1st and 10. Over Kelsey. Klein Susser, the tight end. Aiken Adele makes the stop, 49-yard line, and a pickup of 6 on the play. And listen to every game live online with NFL.com Audio Pass. Special offers, go to NFL.com/AudioPass or search NFL Audio Pass. You'll notice it was his first Florence, that is, his first touchdown via interception. A couple weeks ago in Cincinnati, vacuumed in a fumble, took it in for the TD. He's got 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games and 2 interceptions today. The former high pick by San Diego. 2nd and 4. Little tackle there was made by Spencer Johnson. The handoff went to Adrian Peterson, who climbs for 6. And Solomon at first down to the 46-yard line of the Buffalo Bills.
Les Frazier, in just a short time, he's been named the interim coach. His first game on the road against the Redskins last week, he lost Adrian Peterson in the 2nd quarter. He was faced with some adversity. He said there were some who wanted to go away from the running game, but they had resolve. Under his leadership and steady hand, they stuck with the running game, and it paid off. Now he's faced with more adversity, losing Brett Favre in the early going of the game.
It's 1st and 10 for Jackson. Good-looking pitch, Bernard Berrien right in front of Leotis McKelvin. First down, makes the grab. He's to the 31-yard line, pickup of 12.
And now Les Frazier has to decide, do you stick with the running game even though you're down on the scoreboard? Do you tighten the reins on Tavares Jackson or allow him to continue to throw the football? He's been picked off for an interception return for a touchdown, but still they're going to allow him to throw it on 3rd down. But I think more importantly, they're going to go with the running game and allow that to fuel this offense.
First down and 10. Floating in. Rice. Was it picked up? They tussle with it. They both got the ball out of bounds. Regardless, McKelvin and Rice jousting for the ball. Incomplete pass caught by both. They say out of bounds.
Wow. And it was nearly intercepted. Watch McKelvin. And then the safety coming over the top. But give Rice a lot of credit for fighting for that ball. How did he go out of bounds? I thought he fell inside the pylon. Take a look at this. This is a great play on the ball and great camera work. This ball is caught by nearly everyone. But he looks to be inbounds in my book.
He does.
That's an inbounds play. Now, who you give the ball to? Ty goes to the offensive player. This could be a touchdown. Rice came down inbounds, clearly, by the shot we had there.
Minnesota is challenging the rule on the field of an incomplete pass.
Sidney Rice was one of the best receivers this season to go in the NFL. Hip surgery kept him out of the first 9 games this season. 1:45 to play in the first.
As we return to Mall of America Field, take a look at this catch. All 3 guys catch it. Now, I'm going to tell you that Sidney Rice came down inbounds, and we're going to stop it right there. Stop it right there. Now, take a look at that. Both feet are inbounds at the 1-yard line, and then he falls. Go ahead and roll it inside the pylon. Now, that's a touchdown simply because Ty goes to the offensive player. Sidney Rice went and took the ball from the defender. Just a great play on his part.
Boy, they're going at McKelvin today in the Buffalo secondary.
After reviewing the play, it is a touchdown.
Redemption for Tavares Jackson simply because he's bailed out by his talented wide receiver Sidney Rice, working against Dante Whitner as well as Leotis McKelvin. He goes up and plucks the ball from the defender. It's just a great play. And that's how you make a play for your young quarterback. That's how you make a play for your football team.
That is the first touchdown in this abbreviated season for Sidney Rice out of South Carolina. Ryan Longwell. We are tied at 7. 1:45 to play. The Bills with the defensive touchdown. Then the angular Sidney Rice getting it, jousting with McKelvin for the TD. You're watching CBS from TV's #1 comedy to the #1 new comedy to the #1 news magazine, the #1 news show, and the #1 show on television. Thanks for making CBS America's #1 network. Here in the Dome in Minneapolis, touchdown pass of 31 yards to Rice. McKelvin is the guy that he beat. He's back there to retrieve the Longwell kickoff. Here's McKelvin. Oh, he fouled the ball! The Vikings have gotten it. Frank Walker has retrieved the loose ball on a Buffalo turnover.
Kevin, I have been in this situation. You play defensive back, you get beat for a touchdown, you're returning the kick. You want so badly to make it up, to cover up your multitude of sins that you're going to do something special and you forget to protect the football. And now you have multiplied the problem by fumbling the ball. And Leotis McKelvin, we know he wants to do something. He's holding the ball in that inside hand. You see it's knocked out. And you can see there's Frank Walker to pounce on it. We saw Leotis McKelvin put one on the ground late in the game last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Here are in the backfield, first down and 10. Frank Camarillo. Out of bounds by Leotis McKelvin. He's inside the 10. He's close to a first down. The catch and run takes him to about the 7. He picks up 7 yards.
Oh, this is just a really nice throw. A well-designed play. And then Tavares Jackson, watch how he leads Camarillo. That's why he's able to gain some yards after the catch. It's knocked out of bounds. Right now, this offense is on the move. And where momentum had been snatched away from the Vikings, they now have gotten it back.
Bills have gone to the nickel. Second down and 3. Knocked out with a shoulder injury in the locker room right now. So Jackson takes his place and gives to Gerhardt. Got him from behind. He picks up a meager gain on the play. He's down to the 6-yard line. Let's see. Lesney was there. And Reggie Corner, number 27, around his ankles.
Yeah, we thought the Vikings were going to come out just running the football, looking to save Brett Favre for late in the game. Well, Brett Favre gets knocked out, and so far in this game, they've thrown it more than they have run it. I'm not so sure it's because of the gimpy ankle of Adrian Peterson.
Where normally you'd look for Shanko here, but in the red zone, he's not caught a touchdown this year after getting a bunch, 11 of them last season. So Frazier watches 3rd and 2. Over the head of Berrien, there's a flag. That's on McKelvin. Oh my goodness. They are targeting Leodis McKelvin.
Remember, Terrence McGee is your normal starter, but McKelvin's filling in for him, and they're trying to take advantage of him.
McKelvin, a former number 1 pick out of Troy 3 years ago.
Pass interference. Defense, number 28. Because the contact occurred in the end zone, the ball was placed at the 1-yard line. First down, Minnesota.
And McKelvin just has to practice more patience. Look, you're working inside. Now let him go. Let him go. The ball is thrown high, and because Berrien was looking to get separation and McKelvin continued to still hold on inside, and that's why they called him. Bernard Berrien wanted separation running away, and McKelvin got caught with hands on the jersey.
Only 3 defensive backs, 1st and goal. Adrian Peterson. Oh, Pez Lesney. The Butkus Award winner out of Penn State throws him for a 1-yard loss, which is where we will pick it up when we start the 2nd quarter. Favre is injured. A defensive touchdown for the Bills. A touchdown pass by Favre's replacement at the end of one tied at 7. Restart the 2nd quarter. 2nd and goal. They've been picking on McKelvin. He's now out. 3 defensive backs, 5 defensive linemen for the Buffalo Bills. It's on Buffalo.
Holding. Defense, number 95. The opponent decline. Touchdown, Minnesota.
So the Buffalo Bills watch the fumble by McKelvin lead to a touchdown run by Peterson.
Well, they just do a wonderful job of running behind their pass. Lead blocker, and then watch Peterson. Even on the gimpy ankle, still able to power it in after contact. He was initially hit right around the line of scrimmage, but still able to get to the 2nd level and into the end zone.
Longwell on the Cluey hold, and it is 14-7. Minnesota, seconds into the 2nd quarter for interim coach Leslie Frazier. A fumble by Leodis McKelvin leads to a 2-yard touchdown run by Peterson. Favre is back out on the field after being hit hard right where his name is in the back there of his jersey by Moats. He went to the locker room. Now he is back out there. Let's see if he comes back. But here is Leodis McKelvin on the Longwell kickoff from the 15 and tackled from behind. Nice special teams, and special teams have been an issue. Asher Allen was there along with Eric Frampton. A 5-yard return to the 20.
Well, Leodis McKelvin, sometimes they say a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. McKelvin has been that guy, giving up the touchdown reception to Sidney Rice, comes back and fumbles the ensuing kickoff return to give the Vikings the ball at point-blank range. And then how about giving them a new set of downs on the pass interference call? So he's got to clean it up, give his team a chance to come out and be competitive. Right now, the Vikings have scored 14 unanswered points after falling down 7-0.
Jimmy Kennedy is coming on that defensive line. 1st and 10. C.J. Spiller. Over the block from Bell. Knocked down. A.J. Henderson over there along with Asher Allen on a gain of 2 to the 22-yard line.
When we met with Les Frazier, the one thing you came away understanding that here's a man of tremendous calm and an inner strength. You just understand that he brings something very special to this football team, and the players all confirmed it. So they don't panic on the road last week when Adrian Peterson gets hurt. They come on and win the game on the road. And now today they lose their quarterback, Brett Favre, and they still come back after falling down are falling behind 7-0. They've now scored 14 unanswered points, so you have to believe that this coach brings something special to the table.
5 in the secondary. Jackson at the side. 2nd and 8. That's Martin. The Green Bay tight end who's brought down on the play. No gain. At Winfield over there in the vicinity to the 21-yard line as you take a look at some of his influences.
Yeah, the lessons learned. He studied under Mike Ditka, learned from Buddy Ryan and Tony Dungy and then Andy Reid, and you see all the things that he's kind of learned from him. How about the one from Buddy Ryan? He learned to listen to his players. You saw him talking to Brett Favre. Favre has told us that, yeah, he has allowed us to implement some of the things we want to do. I think when you listen to your players, players take the field understanding that now they have a vested interest in making it work on the field.
5 defensive backs. Griffin on the defensive line. 3rd and 8. Oh, he's whacked. Jared Allen knocks that ball free. Greenway picks it up and will go in, but that was called an incomplete pass. Fitzpatrick was drilled. That guy, Jared Allen, has gotten to him twice early in the game.
Oh, he's just teeing off on Fitzpatrick. Take a look at it. Right in the face, in the chops, beating Demetrius Bell. And he gets the arm going forward because how strong do you have to be when you sense that you're getting hit? You're just going to get that arm going forward so that you can avoid the fumble. And, yeah, they have to rule it an incompleted pass. But right now, Ryan Fitzpatrick is taking his lumps.
One in the punt. The back is Camarillo inside the 35-yard line. A beauty. Farwell with the block. Sanborn the long snapper chasing, and then he is hit on the play hard by Naaman Roosevelt, who played at the University of Buffalo. 17-yard return, 55-yard punt. Favre is pacing on the sideline for Minnesota.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new 2011 Ford F-150. Built Ford tough. Best Buy. Get the best tech gifts this holiday from Best Buy. And by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
As he plays this time of year, the Mall of America. After the 3-and-out by the Buffalo Bills, 1st and 10 from the 40. Gerhardt in the backfield. Remains the quarterback. Shenko brought down by Puz Lesney. That's a 1st down catch and run of 15 to the 45 of the Buffalo Bills.
Tavares Jackson's now 6 for 6 throwing the football since he threw that interception return for a touchdown. This is the easy throw. I think you got to begin to work for Sante Shenko more over the middle of the field. If they can get the run game going, the play action pass will come along. Brett Favre talked to us about it, and that's what they want to do.
Peterson in on 1st and 10. Adrian Peterson. Lodo trying to give a block. Kelsey was across the way, a part of the tackling group right over there. McKelvin 2. Gain of 2. There's a look at Chris Kelsey playing up now as they've switched to the 34 in Buffalo.
Yeah, but he is coming up and providing a 4th man at the line of scrimmage. He's so good at rushing the quarterback, and I think you need to use his talent chasing the quarterback as opposed to dropping in coverage. I think this offensive line right now for the Minnesota Vikings, they're having their challenges playing without Steve Hutchinson.
2nd down and 8. Moats is on his tail. Checks it on the front. 1st down. Racing his way and losing his hat to the 30. 13-yard scramble. This is the guy that probably will take the place of Favre when Favre decides to hang it up.
And his mobility saves a sack. This could have been a disastrous negative play because Brian McKinney was beat by Moats.
Personal foul.
Wow.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 20. Low to the head of a sliding quarterback.
Whitner.
Dante Whitner. There you see Moats coming around the corner, giving chase.
1st down, Minnesota.
Look at the mobility. Okay, there's the shoulder to the head of the quarterback. You can't hit the quarterback if he's sliding first, and you got to just let him go. You can't lead with your head on shoulder. There you can see Whitner took a shot to the head of Tavares Jackson, even though he was sliding feet first. They're going to call that, unfortunately, against you every time, Dante.
And they had evidence. The helmet went flying
and
off.
it's a quarterback.
Yep.
You just can't do it.
In the middle, 1st and 10.
seemingly 6'3", 270 pounds, Kevin. This is a big guy who can move, and no one wants to get in his way. You notice how he finished off that run still falling forward?
Yeah.
He is a load.
So Shenko has caught one for 15. Kleinsasser there for 12. A run by the quarterback Jackson. Adrian Peterson with his second touchdown run today. That from 3.
Simply incredible. Watch the power and physicality of Adrian Peterson. He's hit right here. But you see how he powers his way in, gimpy ankle and all. Now 50 career rushing touchdowns. It's more than anyone since he's come into the National Football League in the 2007 draft.
He went over 1,000 last week against the Redskins. The Longwell extra point makes it 21-7 Minnesota, just like that. 11 to play in the second. Peterson with 2 touchdown runs today. And the Vikings on top. Peterson twisted that ankle last week against the Redskins in Washington. He was a game-time decision, and here he is, not 100%.
Yeah, he was pleading to play in this game. And that's just to tell you, I think, about the mindset of Adrian Peterson. He wants to bring his lunch pail to work every day.
Longwell. Calvin. Hit again. Boy, they are on him so tight today. 10-yard return. And look at McKelvin is shaken up. And coming up on the Sprint halftime report from our CBS studios in New York, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for the latest news, scores, and highlights in the NFL. It's coming up on the Sprint halftime report. All right, the familiar territory now in front of the Buffalo Bills. They've gotten behind and they have come back. They've shown that.
They're very comfortable in these situations. 2 weeks ago against the Cincinnati Bengals on the road, down 21 points. And they score 35 points in the second half to win it going away.
Griffin on the defensive line for the Vikings. 1st and 10 for Buffalo. Jackson. Martin with the block. Evans tries to throw a block, and there he goes, racing to the sideline. Knocked out of bounds at the 37. A run of 12 to James Brown in New York.
Kevin and Solomon, take a look at this run by running back Chris Ivory of the Saints. Breaks out of the pack. Afterburners engage, 55 yards of pay dirt. Longest carry of the season by the Saints. It is Saints on top, 10-6. That in the second. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
They got Reggie Bush. They have Pierre Thomas. Now they got this kid who's kind of come in place of those 2 injured guys.
That's what Sean Payton been waiting on, an inside running game to show up.
After the 12-yard run by Jackson, 1st and 10, Jackson again. Another block by Martin. Greenway and others. Cavalcade of Viking defenders. It's a gain of 2 to the 39. Let's go to James Brown once again. All right, Kevin and Solomon, take a look at David Garrard of Jacksonville on a keeper here. 4th rushing touchdown of the season. That 4-yarder capping a 13-play, 57-yard drive. 14-0 Jacksonville. Kevin and Solomon, seems like you guys have been in the red zone there all day. A lot, right? Hey, Jacksonville, one of the surprises in the NFL.
Absolutely, and that AFC South division is going to come down to the very last week before we know who's going to win it.
2nd down and 8. Spiller is in. 5 in the secondary. Spiller, oh, what a great read outside by perhaps the comeback player of the year in the NFL, a loss of 3. And with the tackle was the linebacker, E.J. Henderson, had that gruesome breaking leg last year. He's back this year and playing well.
Smart play over to the right side. It's a blitzing defense, so he knows it's a 3-step drop. We call it a hot read, where the quarterback has got to get rid of the ball. But the way he was able to cover C.J. Spiller, a quick and nifty running back in the open field, tells you about the abilities of E.J. Henderson.
Linebackers so versatile for the Vikings, they cover guys. So they don't go to the dime, they stay in the nickel, 3rd and 11. Ganther with the block. It's intercepted and picked up on the near side. You see the run back. Winfield, the forward bill, inside the 5. A 42-yard return.
It's all about the pressure. Les Frazier, the head coach, once defensive coordinator. See, look at the pressure in the face. And now he's forced to throw it. where Antoine Winfield is just waiting. There was no receiver in the area. If he's expecting a hot route for the receiver to break it off, well, the receiver just kept going. Both guys to that side, Stevie Johnson and Nelson as well, they don't break off their route. Winfield picks it off. So you talk about pressure leading to picks. You just saw a perfect example of it.
Second pick by Winfield. Fitzpatrick the victim right there. Gerhart in the backfield. First and goal from the 5. Toby Gerhart. Wrapped up and taken down by Spencer Johnson, missing the last couple games with a hamstring. Loss of about a yard on the play. Back to the 6-yard line.
And Kevin, Steve Hutchinson, the left guard, he's out. Anthony Herrera, the right guard, he's out. So Cook and Chris DeGuerre are filling in, and they had hope to be able to run the ball much more effectively against this Buffalo Bills last-ranked rushing defense. As you take a look at Marcus Stroud, who must have got one in the eye. I've had that happen before, and that doesn't feel too good. But they're struggling, I think, to run the ball against this Bills defense.
Carver back on that line. Second down and goal at the 6. Rice, did he get it? Oh, what a catch! Sidney Rice with his second touchdown reception today. A 6-yard hit, and they got Drayton Florence on it.
They're making more plays in the passing game than the run game. Now, this is a great throw. Look at the movement, and then watch the throw while on the move by Tavares Jackson. But as good a throw it is, an even better catch by Sidney Rice. And watch how he turns and curls so the ball doesn't touch the ground, and he's able to secure it into the body. Extension, and then watch him turn. That ball never touches the ground. He secures it perfectly for a touchdown.
Ryan Longwell makes it 28-7 with 8 to play in the second. Adrian Peterson, 2 touchdown runs. Sidney Rice, 2 touchdown catches. Vikings blowing this one up.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Reese's, the perfect combination of chocolate and peanut butter. And by Philips Norelco SensoTouch 3D Shaver.
Stone Arch? That's a Stone Arch Bridge that guy was running on early this morning. 28 points for the Vikings in the last 8 minutes and 45 seconds. The interception by Winfield off Fitzpatrick and a 6-yard touchdown pass to Rice.
Tavares Jackson got his team on the move. Now Ryan Fitzpatrick has to come out of this coma, pull his team out, and start to make some plays on offense.
C.J. Spiller. And brought down on the play nicely by the special teams maven, Onatalu. That is a 17-yard return. Well, this team was down just a couple weeks ago to the Bengals by 21 points. Then in the second half, they scored 18 to win the game. And there was a 35-0 third and fourth quarter for the Buffalo Bills, scoring on offense with Stevie Johnson a couple times. The run by Jackson. We just saw the defensive fumble return for a touchdown by Florence. So they have some history in their background.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You could see points scored in the second half the last 2 games. 51 points, most in the National Football League. So they know how to turn it on.
Vikings in the nickel. First and 10. Spiller. But that will not stop the avalanche of defenders. It's a loss of 2 coming through. Kevin Williams, the 5-time Pro Bowler. All back to the 26, and got a sports fan in your gift list. CBSSports.com shop is officially licensed NFL gear. And get their 3-day shipping on every order. Go to shop.cbssports.com. Favre, who was knocked out after the first series, and then Jackson taking his place. And look at the comparison, Jackson and Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I think the key is Jackson can't start turning the ball over. You keep giving Ryan Fitzpatrick multiple opportunities. Sooner or later, we've seen him, Kevin. He will crack the code of your defense and start to make some plays.
Second and 11. Moving up here. Greenway gets it. Fumble the ball. Gain of 3. They mark him down at the 30. We got the side judge running in, saying he was down. Even though it looked like Ben Lieber got it, the hit was put on him initially by Chad Greenway in the linebacking
corps. Ryan Fitzpatrick just trying to make something happen. I loved the demeanor in which Ryan Fitzpatrick entered the room when we met with him last night. It's, you know, it's a good mixture of humility, and then he's got that quiet cool like a Clint Eastwood, and he's got that smile as if he knows something you don't. And you can just sense that this is a kid of tremendous confidence, and so we've seen him struggle early in ball games, then get it going late. And I think you have to have confidence that he could get that done for you if you're Chan Gailey.
Maybe you'll buy the comparison to Eastwood, but his day has not been made here in Minnesota. 3rd and long, 7. They blow that dead. False start, Buffalo.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
We have an injury for the Buffalo Bills. Handgardner, we were noticing he was not in there. He has got a knee injury. So he is out of the game. 3rd down and 12 for the Buffalo Bills. Cordero Howard now goes to right guard. Urbick becomes the center. Howard becomes the right guard, a rookie free agent out of Georgia Tech. And Urbick, who started today in place of the injured Eric Wood, now goes to center. 3rd and 12. Secondary with 5. Well shy of the 1st down. That's Nelson, the rookie free agent out of Florida. Picks up 5. Makes it 4th and 7. Coming up to punt, the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I think the crowd noise is now becoming a factor. You know, it gets very loud in here, and I think it's making this offensive line a little bit skittish. So the protection isn't quite holding up for Fitzpatrick. I think if they're going to mount any kind of consistency on offense, if the plays called by Chan Gailey have any chance of working, the offensive line has to anchor down and begin to play better.
Mormon to Camarillo. Wow, what a punt here. To the 14, hangs on a 4-8. Hey, Camarillo brought down by Garrison Sanborn. He's the long snapper. The Army 55-yard punt tonight on The Amazing Race. 4 teams remain. 2 episodes to go. One amazing adventure in Korea. That's tonight after 60 minutes. And it's only on CBS. Former Viking defensive back Solomon Wilcots and Kevin Harlan look at the possessions today for the Vikings.
7 so far here in the first half. The first 3 not so good. But look at the last 4 touchdowns for this Minnesota Vikings offense. So they've gotten it going, and the scoreboard would reflect that.
Bills in the nickel with corner. 1st and 10. Peterson. Back by Williams. Back by Kelsey. Jarris Byrd in the secondary brings him down. Rampaging 13-yard gain to the 31-yard line by the number 3 rusher in the NFL.
All right, watch Adrian Peterson, the pulling guard, and then watch this. Watch how he runs out of that. And Kyle Williams, he's a tough hombre, and if you can stiff arm him, keep him from pulling you down, you know you've got to be one strong runner in Adrian Peterson. So good blocking up front. Offensive line starting to get it going.
It's 1st and 10 for Jackson. For Berrien, coverage by Leotis McKelvin at the 39-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
You don't have to tell Tavares Jackson twice to get that ball to the outside of the receiver. Understanding an inside throw could be returned for a touchdown, as we saw early in the ballgame.
Favre, I'm assuming, could return. We have not been told that. But Jackson is doing such a great job. Why not let him in there in a game?
I think you have a lead. Yeah, you have a couple of things. Why would you put him back in and risk him to further injury when you have the score being what it is, up by 21 points? And then you need to find out about Tavares Jackson, who's played well here in the first half.
Good point. 2nd down and 10. The elusive Jackson. Oh, look at this. Camarillo hit by Posluszny. The catch and run to the 49 of Buffalo. Picks up 20 on the play. Great Camarillo. How about extending the play, the quarterback Jackson?
Yeah, I think for Tavares Jackson, as you watch him roll out here, but then watch the crosser and then the jump throw. This is shades of Roger Staubach, the old jump throw, but understanding where the receivers are on the field and being able to ad-lib and make a play. That's when you know the game is beginning to slow down for a young quarterback. And right now, Tavares Jackson appears to be showing that he's improving.
1st and 10. And he's got Whitner around his his right ankle, gain of 6. It was the right ankle, by the way, that Peterson twisted last week. We had a huge confab before the game as Peterson was out there 2 hours beforehand testing that ankle. They had Eric Bieniemy out there, the running back coach, and it was last week against the Redskins where this happened to AP.
Yeah, and he was running, and this is in the second quarter of this game, had over 70 yards rushing. Then he comes out. Toby Gerhart comes in to fuel the rushing attack, and talked about him begging the running back coach Eric Bieniemy, the head coach Les Frazier. There was a conference just to figure out if he was going to play in this game.
Second down and 4. Peterson Whitney ahead in first. Kelsey finishes him off. He's got the first down run, banging his way down to the 35-yard line with a pickup of 8. You know, he's been so durable. Missed a couple games as a rookie, but since that time he's played every game.
I mean, if you took a look at him, to be able to move that well. I mean, there was no limp, but his gait wasn't nearly as swift and powerful as you're seeing right now. But for him to put it together, take a look at what he's done today compared to what the Bills have done. I mean, this Minnesota Vikings running game is starting to heat up. This offensive line is gathering some cohesive chemistry.
Gerhart is in right now. First and 10. Look at the time. Gerhart wrapped up all the way, get it down, knocked the ball free. McKelvin picks it up. They're marking him down. They're marking him down. They say no catch. No catch at the 29. Boy, I tell you what, these days in the NFL, you don't know sometimes if a guy's racing for just his own health or if he's going for 6.
Well, I think you've got to play it out.
Yes.
If you're on the defensive side of the ball. But I thought he had been jarred off the ball. The hit on Toby Gerhart exposed just a little bit on the high throw, high catch before he can pull it into his body. Right there. Ball comes out.
You know what? That's interesting, is it? He looked like he spun, made a football move to go downfield.
But what constitutes the catch other than a move?
That's right.
He has to have the ball secured completely.
Second and 10. Toby Gerhart, the Doak Walker Award winner in college football season ago. Brought down once again in the secondary. It's a gain of 8. Bird got a hold of him at the very end of that run. And we have reached the 2-minute warning. 28 unanswered by the Vikings. Vikings today with Brett Favre out after the first series have gotten 2 touchdown receptions by Sidney Rice, 2 touchdown runs by Adrian Peterson, 28 unanswered in a span of 8 minutes and 45 seconds. Right now, 2-minute warning, third and a short 2. Tavares Jackson is the quarterback and Peterson is in the backfield. AP. He runs angry. I think Kyle Williams tripped him up and then he fell forward for 5. Picks up the first down to the Buffalo Bill 20. Right now in New York in our CBS studios, they're putting together the Sprint halftime report. JV, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Coward. The latest NFL news, scores, and highlights. The Sprint halftime report next on CBS. It is a first down to the 20-yard line of the Buffalo Bills. Gerhart remains. 2 times. Here comes Coach Smokes on the run after the quarterback. And just as a point of record, it was Moats that knocked out Favre with a hit between his shoulder blades earlier in the game, 2nd down and 10.
Well, you can see the mobility and athleticism of Tavares Jackson. I think allows the offense to do a few more things. We have already seen him use that mobility to escape the defense when they appear to have had him entrapped in the backfield. He was able to get away, extend the plays, and remove the chain. So Brett Favre was on the sideline, loving to play in this game. You know what a competitor he is, but right now, Les Frazier and the Vikings are getting a look at their second string quarterback.
Cargo, part of the 4 in that defensive line on a 2nd down and 10. Gerhart with Spencer Johnson around his ankles on a gain of 2 down to the 18-yard line. We're talking about that injury moments ago, and here it is again.
Oh, this is Moats coming in from the backside. Watch 52 giving chase. Brett never sees him. And those hurt the most. He couldn't brace himself, didn't even sense that he was in danger. And you can see him on the ground wincing in pain.
Well, as you said, it feels a lot different at 41 than it would at 21.
No doubt. Very difficult to shake those off.
11th play of this drive. 13-yard run by Peterson. 20-yard catch and run by Camarillo. The big plays. 3rd and 8. What a great defensive play by Buzz Leslie. Folks, this is a rising star, one of the top 10 tacklers in the NFL. He throws Gerhardt for a loss of 2. They're back to the 20, and looks like they're going to try for 3.
You know, the one thing that you understand when you come in and you talk with this Vikings team now with Les Frazier as their coach, I think the one thing he told us that he wanted to really tap into, he wanted this team to become more focused. He said you can't win in this league if you're not a focused, unified football team. Remember, they've had a lot of issues, you know, the distractions that he called. You know, Brett Favre, is he coming to the team or not? Randy Moss is joining the team, and then his quick departure, the firing of their former head coach, Brad Childress. And so he just wanted this team to just focus on playing for this week. Don't look back and don't look ahead. Let's not talk about the playoffs and let's not talk about the past. Let's just talk about what's in front of us, the Buffalo Bills. And I think he's done a really good job of getting his team to focus, and they're playing well as a result.
In a season where they brought in Favre, as you talked about, I mean, they were saying, let's bring back our entire cast that played in that NFC Championship year a year ago. Longwell will try a 38-yard field goal. And now it is 31-7. The Minnesota Vikings. 31 unanswered points. Jackson has led the brigade against Chan Gailey's Buffalo Bills. It happened so fast. Favre was knocked out after the first series of the game. They went back in the locker room. He already was playing with a bad right shoulder. Looks like Jackson may take him away. That is our halftime score from snowy Minneapolis on CBS. An explosive first half for the Minnesota Vikings. 2 touchdown runs by Adrian Peterson. 2 good-looking touchdown catches by Sidney Rice. That is our halftime score with Solomon Wilcots. Kevin Harlan, thank you for joining us. Doing all that without Brett Favre.
Yeah, and you love the way that Tavares Jackson has come in and really taken command of the football team after the early interception, returned for a touchdown. He settled down, started to make some plays down the field, and it's a good mix of making plays with his arms and then the mobility to buy more time. Even though the pressure was right on him, he still made plays with his arms and has led this team to putting some points on the board in the first half.
All right, let's take a look now at some of the issues. The Droid Pro play presented by Motorola.
Well, you have to love Tavares Jackson, this throw to Sidney Rice, the way he takes the ball away from 2 defenders and falls into the end zone. That gave them their first points of the game, tied it up 7 apiece. From there, they went on a roll, but it was that catch and that play made by the quarterback and wide receiver that's led to their comeback.
And through 30 minutes of football, here are some of the numbers. Jackson has looked good. Time of possession and the turnover is an interesting story, too. They have not come back to bite the Vikings, but boy, have the Vikings taken advantage of Buffalo's turnovers.
Take a look at the first down. I think that tells the story. The offense has continued to turn out yards, whether it's running or throwing the football for the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, they're clicking not just on offense, but on both sides of the ball where their defense is getting after Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Longwell's kickoff. C.J. Spiller backing up to about the 3-yard line for the Bills, and our second half is underway. They hit him high, they hit him low. They got him all over the place right there. A 14-yard return and help from Onatalu, who made the stop. As Favre will not come in this second half. Jackson will be coming in a little bit later on when they've got the ball, and earlier on.
Yeah, he was injured on the 3rd play of the game, a rollout play, and then Moats comes in and hits him from behind, tracking him. Brett Favre never saw it coming, wincing on the ground in pain. They had to take him in to take some pictures and MRI. He's come back out, but he's just stood on the sideline and watched Tavares Jackson take over the ball game.
Well, second halves have been very kind to the Buffalo Bills from the 18. First down and 10. Got in the way of that pass to Lee Evans, who has not caught a pass today. And you can see the quarterback Fitzpatrick scraping himself off the floor here at the Dome.
Yeah, and Ryan Fitzpatrick hasn't been sacked, but he's been hit a whole lot. And that's Kevin Williams getting penetration to force the untimely and inaccurate throw from Ryan Fitzpatrick. Frank Walker getting a hand on it, but credit the pressure of that front forward defensive line for the Minnesota Vikings.
Second down and 10. Jackson in the backfield for Buffalo. For Jackson. Boy, just devoured inside. They had Jared Allen, also Pat Williams in there. It's a gain of 2. He's up to about the 20.
Yeah, they're forcing 3rd and longs on Ryan Fitzpatrick and this Buffalo offense. And that's when Jared Allen, the rest of those defensive linemen, you see him smiling. He knows that they have him right where they want. In a must-throw situation, it's a defensive lineman's dream. This is where you can mount up some of those sacks. You know, Chan Gailey's got to dial up pass plays. And to get the ball down the field, now Ryan Fitzpatrick can't throw it quickly. He's got to hold on to it to throw the ball beyond the first down mark.
On 3rd and 8, here comes Allen. Jackson, screen pass. And Greenway brings him down, riding him, picks up 4. He's up to about the 26, shy of the first down by a couple, and on their first second-half possession, the Buffalo Bills will punt the ball.
Chad Greenway is an excellent football player. Watch number 52 as you see the pressure in the face of the quarterback to make this tackle before Fred Jackson can hit that first down marker. We know Jackson is a difficult tackle in the open field. Everyone sort of surprised by Fred Jackson except for Chad Greenway. He says, no, I know him. He's from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Colt College. That's right. Chad Greenway's from Iowa. He's not surprised about the talent of Fred Jackson.
Orman to punt. Camarillo is deep back from the 29. And drilled on the play. Some nice special teams there, right? Put on by Moats with the hit. 5-yard return, 45-yard punt. Travaris Jackson back out there to begin the second half for the Vikes. Buffalo Bills with a 3-and-out to begin the second half, and here comes Travaris Jackson. The Vikings from the 34, 1st and 10. 5 defensive backs for Buffalo. Adrian Peterson brought down by Aiken Adell, who started last year for the Miami Dolphins. It's a gain of a yard. He's to the 35, and a lot of scoring for Minnesota. But look at what has happened to the Buffalo Bills in the first half.
In the first half of their last 3 games, look at the production they have allowed for the opposing offense. They've given up 75 points in the first half of their last 3 games. That's roughly, what, 25 points per half. And so George Edwards, he's got to get his defense dialed in, particularly on the first possession of the second half.
Peterson on 2nd down and 9. Plus Lesney grabbed him, yanks him down about the 40-yard line, picking up 5 on the play.
Now, why do I say they got to get it going on this first possession? I'm talking about that Bills defense. They've allowed opponents to score a touchdown on the first possession in the second half in 6 of the 11 games. I mean, that is most in the National Football League. So they've struggled coming out at halftime and stopping the opposing offense on that first possession.
Bills have now gone to 6 in the secondary. Brian Scott brought in 3rd down and 4. Intercepted by McKelvin on the ricochet at the 47-yard line. That's another turnover for the Minnesota Vikings. Their 3rd today. McKelvin comes up with the pick.
Oh, he had been the weak link, but not so fast. And this is just a bad throw. A high throw from Travaris Jackson for his intended receiver. Throws it high and behind the intended receiver. You intercept all tips and overthrow.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Sony, this season give the best. Visit sony.com/3D promos for great offers. And by Chevrolet.
St. Paul dressed up and ready to go for the holidays. They've got that beautiful Holly Dazzle parade that goes down Nicollet Mall every night. And last night we saw some of it. The fans lining the streets in like 10-degree weather to watch.
Don't you feel closer to the North Pole when you're here? It's a little bit. What beautiful great scenery.
It is
downtown.
Great city, and a fresh blanket of 8 inches falling the other day. So after the interception, 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line. No contact. There go the flags. I don't think anybody moved. It was on the Minnesota Vikings. They were not induced, the Vikings. Or the, let's see here.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 93, jumping into the neutral zone, causing a reaction by the offensive player. 5-yard penalty Still first down.
Five-time Pro Bowler Kevin Williams, and Wednesday on Showtime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp, and Phil Simms all come your way on cable's longest-running show, the multi-award winning Inside the NFL, every Wednesday on Showtime. Bills have only run 3 plays in Viking territory today. Now 1st and 5. Fred Jackson. Moving his way than an avalanche of Viking defenders are right there. The Vikings, by the way, against the run are number 5. There's a flag. In fact, 3 of them thrown on the play with the gain to the 43-yard line by Jackson. Gain of 4 as it stands now.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 67. 15-yard penalty. The down counts. 2nd down.
That's Levitri, who is a starting left guard.
Yeah, Levitri's got to keep his cool. Make it much more difficult for Chan Gailey to dial up those kinds of plays as you see on the run. Now watch Levitri coming in late on the play. There he is, 67, late push. There he is coming from behind, chipping away.
There was kind of a late hit there, too, by Jared Allen, 69 of the Vikings. He was kind of digging his way in there. Maybe Levitri saw that.
Oh, Levitri was way late.
Yep. 2nd down and 15, back to the 42. Vikings in the dime. They get the nickel. 5 defensive backs. Jackson with a great block. Great catch, first of the day. And the former first-round pick, that's Lee Evans, deep into Viking territory. And he's at the 35. He picks up 23 on the play.
My apologies, Kevin. I said that in the first half that the protection had to hold up for Fitzpatrick. If this offense is going to get it going, it has to start with the offensive line providing protection. They gave him time to throw, and it was a rocket. He has accuracy. He can throw the ball, and he will hit the receiver if he get open, as we saw in that play to Lee Evans.
E.J. Henderson made that stop. Deepest penetration by the Bills today. 1st and 10. And McIntyre. Fullback. Oh, he was hit hard. That ball was jarred free. Vikings got it. Another turnover for the Buffalo Bills. The 3rd. I think E.J. Henderson knocked it free out of McIntyre's hands.
Yeah, McIntyre's got to hold on to it. But this defense is really bringing it. And Les Frazier thought that his defense was beginning to play their best football. He said we had gotten away from doing these things. Look at that. Ooh. Wow, and jarring the ball loose. Take a look at it.
Yep, it was. Well, I'll take it back. Yeah, it was.
Provided the hit. Wow.
That's on a fullback and a rugged guy in his own right. McIntyre. The turnover. Jackson to Peterson on 1st and 10. And finally held on the near side by Kelce on a gain of 4 to the 30-yard line.
Just a wonderful player is Adrian Peterson. I spent some time here this spring, Kevin, and I sat in the room as his running back coach, Eric Bieniemy, would coach him up on the finer points of being patient to the hole and fast through it, of holding the ball at all points of pressure. Remember, he had fumbled the ball a number of times over the last few years, but no fumbles at all in about 250 touches so far this year.
He led the NFL in fumbles at one time that rookie season. 2nd down and 6. Peterson bouncing. Chased by Poswosny. Run out of bounds. He's got the first down at the 38-yard line. That's a 6-yard gain. And they'll move the chains.
Now you got to ask yourself, with the score being what it is, do you try to get Adrian Peterson out? But he won't come out. Starts one way, then bounce it outside. The talent and the speed, and he just does not quit. Rarely will he go out of bounds without any contact, but he lives to fight another day. You think his teammates don't appreciate what he's doing today? Understanding he's less than 100%.
Gerhardt on 1st and 10. He's into the secondary. Whitner brings it down. He's a hard-hitting safety. That's a gain of 6. He's up to the 44.
And Toby Gerhardt, he packs a wallop himself. 230 pounds. Peterson, we said that Gerhardt, this is the time of year to come on and give Peterson a little bit of rest. And I think that's where you got to start. I think working Toby Gerhardt into the offense a little bit more. He showed some promise last week.
Second down and 4. Gerhart, who played at Stanford. Kelsey jumped on the pile at the end. It's a gain of 2. Now, he finished we're on the cusp of the Heisman Trophy being awarded this year. Last year, he finished very close in the Heisman voting to Ingram of Alabama, but he was almost a Heisman Trophy winner himself.
And I think he was a catalyst for Jim Harbaugh, the work that he's done rebuilding that Stanford Cardinal program. And, you know, Toby Gerhart was a catalyst and one of the core players. We see that team continuing to play well, but I think, as Les Frazier said, this kid's got a bright future in the NFL.
Schenko looked like he moved on that 3rd and 2.
False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Gerhart was one of 2 second-round picks by the Minnesota Vikings. He had a camp issue with a knee, and that kind of slowed his progress out of the blocks with Minnesota.
Yeah, and he missed a lot of mini camp because the graduation is a little bit late. It's not till June, so he missed a lot of those mini camps, much to the dismay of his then head coach Brad Childress.
Into the dime on 3rd and 7. That means 6 defensive backs, and there go more flags.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It's DeGear, you were talking about making his first NFL start for the multiple Pro Bowl winner Hutchinson.
Well, they were looking at, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. You get an illegal procedure call on Visanthe Schenko, and then now Chris DeGear. This offense is moving backwards. We had praised them. In their last 5 possessions, they had scored points, and now this offense is headed in the opposite direction.
Still the 6 in the secondary. 3rd down and 12. They need the 47. Toby Gerhart. There's a block from Ryan Cook. Buzz Lesney was among the many to make the stop for the Buffalo Bills on 3rd and 12. He picks up 9. He's to the 45, and the Vikings have got to punt the ball.
This kid runs hard. Good tackle by Lesney. And I said they had scored on their last 5 possessions. I remember the interception by Leotis McKelvin. So on the last couple of possessions by the Vikings, they've been stopped by this Bills defense.
Chris Kluwe, number 2 in net punting in the NFL. Spiller back at the 10 for Buffalo. Great punt. Well, they have the hang time and have it inside the 5. Ricky, there's a flag thrown. Kluwe, the punter, was drilled at about the 40. There's a guy who is a speed reader and a musician, a real renaissance man. Chris Kluwe from UCLA, leading right now the NFC in Pro Bowl balloting at that position.
Look at that smile. He knows he took one for the team.
He got strummed, the guitarist.
He took a hit. And you have to wonder if it'll give the Vikings a new set of downs.
There's Jerome Boger.
During the kick, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 26. Unnecessary contact on the punter. Half the distance to the goal. The ball be placed at the 10-yard line. 1st down, Buffalo.
Ashton Yabodi is the one who picked it up.
It don't take a lot to run and hit the punter when he's not looking.
Oh, it was 25.
It was 25.
They called the wrong guy. Bills will have it when we come back. One thing Jan said about his team, he says, I admire probably the most of any significant thing this team has is their character, their fight. They never give up.
Yeah, he admires their effort. Now he wants them to increase and have a greater expectation of winning. He said a lot of teams would have folded at 0-8, but now we got to take the field expecting to win. Now they have their backs up against the wall.
5 defensive backs, 1st and 10 for Fitzpatrick. Spiller, after missing a couple games, Greenway grabs him, gain of 3 to about the 13-yard line. Tonight on 60 Minutes, something big is brewing at Facebook. What is it? Find out tonight directly from the CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, on 60 Minutes, plus Ben Bernanke and his predictions for the economy. All tonight right here on CBS. 2nd down, long 6.
And now they have to, I think, provide protection for Ryan Fitzpatrick. When he's been given that kind of protection, he's shown that he can make the throws, but that protection hasn't come often in this game.
Jackson. Great play, Jared Allen. He is well below his pace for sacks. But Allen coming, he's got 7. He's averaged 14 over the last 3 years. He's had a couple pressures today. He stops Jackson right there, loss of 2.
Yeah, but you love the fact that he'll play the run. You see him coming in from the backside. Watch the speed. Look at that. Close to being a horse collar. Did let go. But the fact that he can knife in and make plays against the run, now you get to chase the quarterback on 3rd down.
Everson Green is Griffin is coming on that defensive line for the Minnesota Vikings, 3rd and 7. Here comes Robinson. There goes Fitzpatrick. First down catch. The reliable David Nelson. A 12-yard grab. He's up to the 24. He was working on Lito Shepherd.
You know, watch the movement. See him escape to his right, get out of the pocket, and then the laser lock accuracy to Nelson. So it's just a really good play. This is a play made solely by the quarterback because the pressure was on top of him, and he was able to make Robinson miss, who was providing pressure. Once he gets outside the pocket, he has a nice window to complete the pass.
Spiller in the backfield, first down and 10. The rookie Spiller with a nice ceiling block, and that opens the door. McIntyre out ahead 2. Blocking Abdullah. Out of bounds. Scampering down the sideline. They'll mark him out of play at the 45 of the Bills. A 20-yard burst of first down for Buffalo.
And watch Levitre coming around, 67. Sets the edge for C.J. Spiller. We told you in our open that he would provide another weapon for Fitzpatrick in the offense. His speed to not only run it, and I think he's an excellent receiver even on the outside. You'll see Chan Gailey use him in a number of different ways to get the ball into his hands. I think their offense is all the better for him.
His counterpart, Percy Harvin, is out today with migraines, inactive for Minnesota. First down and 10. Spiller again. Levitre pulling. E.J. Henderson couldn't get him from behind. And then he was brought down after a gain of 2. Hitting him on the play, Antoine Winfield at the 47-yard line.
As you can see, they're trying to get the speed of C.J. Spiller out on the edge, on the perimeter of this fast-flowing defensive line for the Minnesota Vikings. I think their front 7 is phenomenal. And Les Frazier said it, that we have to get back to playing not the way we did last year. He spoke about the 2008 season when they played in a lot of close ball games, and they learned to win the gritty ball games as opposed to getting the big leads and holding on.
Spiller and Jackson both in the backfield here. Jackson with a great-looking block. And the run by Spiller to the 48 on a pickup of 4. Let's go to James Brown in New York.
Kevin and Solomon, I love to hear Solomon Wilcots narrate these highlights here. Take a look at Aaron Rodgers. Mr. Playbook Solomon Wilcots. What does he do? Driver. 61 yards of pay dirt. There's a second guy he gets by. Here's a third one. There he's got 4 after him. He bumps them into the end zone. 61 yards of pay dirt. 21-13 Green Bay. Back. And Kevin Harlan, he wouldn't be too quiet on those highlights either. Kevin and Solomon.
We're just taking a page out of your book, JB.
It's a big page. 33 flags.
All-star. Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Ronald.
Take a look at it right here. There's the movement right there. Got to hold your water. We talked about the offensive line, their ability to play better. For Chan Gailey's offense to take flight. 2 of 8 on 3rd down conversion. They're averaging 3rd and 8. So that's the long way. Very difficult to convert those into first down.
Pittsburgh coach Mike Tomlin told us a week ago he loves how situationally good this Buffalo team is.
Yeah, 3rd down. They have been playing very well inside the red zone as well. They're going to call a timeout here. Well, I think they would have ran out of time. So this offense has to get it going.
2:58 in the 3rd from the Dome.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Allstate. Dollar for dollar. Nobody protects you like Allstate. And by the Droid Pro by Motorola. Finally, a work phone worth taking home.
Stevie Johnson's been a little quiet.
Yeah, he's only caught one ball, and that was early in the first half. So he has to begin to make some plays for his quarterback.
On 3rd and 8, the blitz. Going for Evans. No yellow. Coverage by Lito Shepherd. That was 3rd down and 8. Now it is 4th and 8, and the Bills have got to punt the ball.
And Evans kept that ball from being intercepted. Watch the jump inside the receiver. See, he gets inside, he's going to make the catch on the ball. So it's just a great play and a great read by the veteran Lito Shepherd.
Vikings had 5 consecutive scores back in the first half. 31 unanswered points. Rice, 2 touchdown receptions for Minnesota. Peterson, 2 touchdown runs for the Vikings. Favre was knocked out on the first series on a big hit by Moats from behind. Mormon, Camarillo, 16-yard line. More of Tavares Jackson. 7-yard punt right there. Vikings on top. Did start today, and he was, of course, an Ironman. And here we got some other significant guys who have had long careers.
Rocky Marciano, Cal Ripken, the Ironman of Major League Baseball. Gordie Howe, 32 seasons in professional hockey. AC Green, look at his consecutive games played in the NBA. And Brett Favre, 297 consecutive starts by beginning this game today, but was knocked out of the game 3 plays into it.
Got hit between his shoulder blades on a hit by Moats. The ball fluttered. It was picked off by Florence. 1st and 10. Toby Gerhart. Whitner, the first to catch him. And about the 20 on a gain of 4. There was that injury early in the game. The 3rd play of the game.
Yeah, he rolled out, and that was to buy him a little bit more time. And watch Arthur Moats coming in from behind, number 52. Favre tries to flip that ball up. It was intercepted. So on his 1 pass attempt, it was intercepted. There are only 3 plays into the game. Tavares Jackson has to come in, and Brett Favre says that, man, getting old isn't easy. And we sat down to talk to him on Friday.
He's 41. This is his last season. 2nd down and 6, Gerhart. And he had Puslesny around his ankles. It's a gain of 4. He's up to the 24-yard line. I mean, he has said that before, that it would be his last season. But, I mean, earlier he said, I am done. That's it. I mean,
was that the first time he said that?
Well, this early in the season, I believe it is about the first time he has said it that early.
Yeah, I think it's more believable now considering this season. He even talked to us about it. He says, look, I only had 1 losing season in my 20 years in the National Football League. And he said, but the guys have continued to fight on his football team. They have hope. They're still making the playoffs.
First down run by Gerhart, breaking a tackle in the secondary and brought down by Jarris Byrd. Corner couldn't get him at the line of scrimmage. A 13-yard run to the 37-yard line for Gerhart.
I think Les Frazier put it best. Look, 1 cut downhill inside. He said that Toby Gerhart gets better the more carries you give him. I think this kind of run proves it. And we've seen him stonewall in the backfield. Then we've seen him maybe get to the line of scrimmage. Now he's starting to wear down the defense and rips off some huge chunks now that he's carrying the ball a little bit more in his ball game.
Peterson is back in, 1st down and 10. Sidney Rice. Knocked out of bounds. Florence was covering at the 46-yard line. Close to a 1st down, a pickup of 9. We close on in. James Brown.
Hey, Kevin, since he hasn't been able to get much going against the Saints here, T.O., 5 catches for 40 yards here. Hooks up with Carson Palmer, this 45-yard strike. They missed the point after narrow the gap to only 8. New Orleans on top, 20-12. Hey, flex when you're ahead, T.O. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
Interesting game, JB. Thank you very much. 2nd down and 1. Peterson remains. Comes Kelsey. Going deep for Rice. Intercepted by Whitner. And he'll go the other way, looking for blocking. Play brought down by Bernard Berry. At about the 46, a return of 36 yards. for Donte Whitner, the leading tackler, and his first pick of the season.
Okay, you have a single high safety. Look at Donte Whitner back here. You do not throw the ball down the middle of the field against a single high safety. He's sitting back there waiting, and he's fielding it as if it's a punt. So you've got to be able to see that guy. You think you could throw it over his head, but Chris Kelsey is pounding you in the chest, and you threw it as you were leaning backwards, and he couldn't get a whole lot on it. Donte Whitner took advantage of it.
How weird is this? They had 4 interceptions coming into today, year long. And now they have 4 today.
Yeah, making some plays.
Yeah.
You got to love that. Now they need the offense to turn those interceptions into points.
They're going to see if he was touched.
Minnesota is challenging the ruling of the field of an advance after the interception.
Yeah, they're going to see if Rice may have grazed Whitner when they all fell deep in Buffalo territory. Wipe out a 36-yard return by Donte Whitner.
Third interception on the day for Tavares Jackson. Here's the catch. Was he touched? I think he was touched on his way to the ground, and if so, then that would have to be down by contact. Let's watch and see if there's some contact there.
Can't tell on that one. Kelsey was bearing down on Tavares Jackson. And Jackson just threw this up.
Take a look at this. I think that's a touch right there.
Sure.
So that would be down by contact.
Good call. Good camera work by his right hand. Sidney Rice's right hand. Which would put him... Let's see if we can try to figure out exactly where. About the 10, 11-yard line, 12-yard line, right in that area.
I think Darrell Bevell, the offense coordinator, saying, hey, you know, you have a single high safety, you had a backside post, and you didn't do anything to move the safety. You didn't pump faking. He was in good position. No way you should have thrown that ball, because most safeties like Donte Whitner is going to make a play on it.
Last week we saw in Washington 38 runs, 23 pass attempts in the Viking win in Washington. Tonight, up to this afternoon, 29 carries and 21 throws by Jackson. Farfad wants 22 passes by the Vikings, 29 carries. This is something you talked about at the open of the show. They want to run the ball more. And Leslie Frazier told you he wants to establish that run.
Yeah, he said that that's the way that he believes they got to get back to playing. He said Adrian Peterson is their best football player. You got to allow him to carry the team, because he's more than capable of doing it. And when you start to throw it a lot, things like this happen. The 3 turnovers. And Les Frazier, you could tell he's not happy the fact they're turning over the football. He said the 2 things he wants. We have to protect the football, and we have to create turnovers. We do those 2 things, we're a pretty good football team.
There is a challenge by the Vikings. It was an interception by Donte Whitner. The double covered Sidney Rice when all 3 were falling down. The Vikings think touched him with the right hand, which would constitute him being down about the 10, give or take a couple yards either way. Boger has seen the replay, and we'll hear his thoughts.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Interception and return. Minnesota is charged. It's first team timeout.
So it does bring into play the nice return for Whitner. I don't know. It looked like his right hand was on him as they were all falling. That's what you said, and I agree with you.
Well, I think they need conclusive evidence. I think we saw him touch him, but it's all subjective.
Come on, as a defensive back, you should stand up for your guys here. Say, no, he didn't touch him.
The eye and the sky don't lie. That's the one creed we all live by.
Les Frazier, part of that 85 Chicago Bears Super Bowl championship team. Guy who had 5 very good seasons and then blew a knee in that Super Bowl game. Ended basically his career 1st and 10. Fitzpatrick. McIntyre drops the ball. Remember that song they came up with, that Super Bowl shuffle song? Keep that in mind. We're going to take a break and stay tuned. Might have a chance to show you that Les Frazier was in there. At the end of 3, the Vikings commanding over the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo took an early 7-0 lead, then 5 consecutive scores by the Vikings. 2 touchdown catches by Rice, 2 touchdown runs by Adrian Peterson. 31 unanswered. We begin the 4th. 2nd down and 10 from the Buffalo 46 after the Whitner interception. That ball's loose. Robinson falls on it. Was it a fumble? Yes, it was. It's on the Buffalo Bills. Another turnover, the fourth by Buffalo's offense. Robinson filling in for Edwards. Vacuums in the ball.
And it's all up to the cowboy, Jared Allen. He's playing his rodeo. Look at him. Gets Demetrius Bell. There it is, stealing the ball from behind. With his left hand, he punches the ball out. Jared Allen knows. Look at the left hand of Allen. That's just making a play. Boy, when he gets it going, he really gets it going, and he could be a quarterback's worst nightmare.
Fitzpatrick with the beard being grown, he says, until the end of the season. First down and 10 from the 43. Adrian Peterson with the block. Jarris Byrd, look at the speed of Peterson, shifting gears. A gallop of 43 yards, his third touchdown today.
Kevin, you say ankle, I say what ankle? Watch this. Watch him bounce back. Coming back to the outside. This is speed personified. Torches the entire defense of the Buffalo Bills. They can't even pull his flag. Jarris Byrd doesn't have a shot.
Byrd had an angle on him, too.
What angle?
Yeah, no kidding. All he got was a vapor. Longwell. It's 38-7. The Vikings have scored 38 unanswered points. They cash in on the turnover by the Bills. Adrian Peterson finds pay dirt for the third time. Vikings have scored 21 points off turnovers this afternoon, and Peterson has been at the tip of the spear, man. He has been terrific.
You know, Les Frazier said the one thing he learned from Buddy Ryan, we said this earlier, is he learned to listen to his players. He listened to Adrian Peterson before the game when Adrian begged the coaches, let me play in this game.
First of the attack for the Vikings, Peterson. C.J. Spiller. And then brought down by Aaron Henderson, the younger brother of E.J. 3 touchdown runs by Peterson. The Vikings are looking at their second consecutive win.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the KFC Festive Feast. Have a so good holiday. AT&T. We think possible. And by Acura. The most innovative thinking you'll find in an Acura.
It's about 15 degrees outside. Beautiful shot here in Minneapolis. After the Peterson touchdown run of 43 yards, it is a first down from the 31-yard line for the Buffalo Bills. Fred Jackson. And a gain of 5. Pat Williams brings him down. 36-yard line. A busy day in the NFL. A lot of games with a lot of importance.
Yeah, a lot of divisional matchups. How about that matchup in the AFC West between Denver and Kansas City? They're on top of the AFC West. And the NFC North, Chicago, Detroit, surprising score. Detroit had been leading that game. The Bears now back on top.
San Francisco in Lambeau today, and the 49ers have won 4 of their last 6 games.
Washington barely put up a fight against the New York Giants.
Second down and 5. Screwed up play. Fitzpatrick is down. No gain. And in the NFC, this is the way it looks. The Vikings are on certainly the way outside looking in, but they win today, they'll be 5-7.
So take a look at Atlanta on top in the conference at 9-2 and 1 game behind them. Even in their division, the wild card pace team in the New Orleans Saints, 8-3, visiting Cincinnati today, I should say. Les Frazier and the Minnesota Vikings believe that before it's all said and done, that they're going to get back in the hunt.
5 defensive backs, third down and 5. Here they come again. Lee Evans, great catch. 40-yard line. Medea Williams with the coverage marker at the 41. Jared Allen just about had Fitzpatrick a 23-yard pickup and a first down for Buffalo.
And Asher Allen, the cornerback, number 21, forcing to throw it over his hand, but drop it in front of Medea Williams. That is a laser lock throw from Ryan Fitzpatrick. The protection holds up. He can make the throw. Then you got to make plays on the back end.
Evans did not have a very good day last week against the Steelers. A couple drops and fumbles, and wasn't really much of a factor.
Made a couple of nice catches in today's game here in the second half.
First and 10, Spiller. Jackson with the block. And into the secondary with a tackle made back there by Abdullah. 11-yard burst by C.J. Spiller, missing the last 2 games with a hamstring injury.
Take a look at the block here. Look, he'll just come right here. Break it back behind the block of Fred Jackson. And this is an excellent tackle because you get in space against an NFL running back like C.J. Spiller. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be hard to corral him, but you rope the legs like Abdullah did on that play. That's why he's back there making great tackles in the open field.
Spiller remains 4 in the secondary. First and 10. Spiller. E.J. Henderson coming through. Kevin Williams providing the way. Loss of 4. Back to the 34. Well, coming up after the game, the Subway postgame show with JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Scores and highlights all from New York on the Subway postgame show. Second down and 14. Fake to Spiller. Fitzpatrick. Evans nails it in and brought down. He was hit on the play. E.J. Henderson was the linebacker to come back there, and the coverage by Madieu Williams. 26-yard pickup and a first down to the 7.
Nice little play fake here. Watch on the backside. Coming into your screen there. And Evans so wide open, he can catch it twice. He bobbled it and he got up. He was a little disgusted because if you make this a clean catch the first time, see, there's 1, there's 2, actually 3 times he was able to catch it on the same play. But if you catch it sooner, now you have the opportunity to create yards after the catch.
Walker is back out there in the secondary for the Vikings. First and goal at the 8. Shuffle pass. Jones, the wide receiver. And reading it well in the secondary, Antoine Winfield. Player is down. It looks like Aiken Adele. It's a gain of a yard to the 7.
Like
was
it
it Kelsey? I'm sorry.
Urbic.
Oh, it was Urbic. Excuse me. It was Urbic. The wrong guy.
Yeah, he's the right guard.
Yep.
And, well, he appears to be affected in
My
a very bad
apologies.
way.
My apologies on that. It is Urbic, who was playing the center because of another injury. Handgartner was injured earlier in this game. And they've had to move some guys around on that offensive line. Urbic, who began playing in place of Eric Wood at the right guard, moved to center when Handgartner went out. And then they brought in Howard to play the right guard.
Yeah, we're going to see it occur right there. Looks as if someone's rolled up on. Oh, there he is. The way he fell, split himself, and came up holding the knee. Now he's got some movement there. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Trying to count how many offensive linemen they've got. Wood, we know, is out. Handgartner is gone because he is injured. Well, it must be fairly significant if they're going to bring McCarn out there. Urbic, who is a former high draft pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 3rd round out of the University of Wisconsin. He was a Badger. And down he goes. Now they're going to bring in Ed Wang, who is a rookie out of Virginia Tech. He's number 71. So the second starting Bills offensive lineman is gone.
Well, if you mentioned, there are a number of moving parts on that offensive line. When you're going up against a formidable defensive line like Jared Allen, Kevin and Pat Williams, and Ray Edwards, and some of the other guys, even though Edwards not playing in today's game, and Brian Robinson, boy, they can really give you a workload.
LaVitri is the new center. Second and goal at the 7. Wang playing the guard, and here's a reception made. And that is Nelson out of Florida. Makes his second catch today, pickup of 6. He's down to the 1. Abdullah was right there. You may recall last week it was Nelson with all those big catches in overtime.
And watch the push of Kevin Williams in the face of the quarterback, but good throw from Fitzpatrick, who just stares right down the barrel. He felt the pressure, but he hung in there and drilled it in there to Nelson.
So Bell is playing the left tackle. Wang is playing the left guard. LaVitre is playing the center. Third and goal at the 1. It's going to be a fumble. Vikings haven't stopped a 3rd and 1 all season until right there. A fumble. We have a new center. Maybe a problem on the exchange. And it was not Wang who was the center, but LaVitre, 67. Yep. 5th red zone takeaway by the Vikings this season. 5 turnovers for the Buffalo Bills. 9 total turnovers in the game.
That is something else. We've had 3 other games this year that have tied for the same amount of turnovers in a single game.
New center, LaVitre. The exchange bad from him and the quarterback. And there is an Albert Young run of 5 yards to the 7-yard line.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson's out, giving him a little bit of rest, but not before he put in some work. Remember, they had to work him out before the game. It was a game-time decision, testing that ankle with running back coach Eric Bieniemy, and then head coach Les Frazier, Darrell Bevell, offense coordinator, trainer, everyone. It's like a meeting of the heads of state to figure out if he's going to play. He begged them to get into this game, and while he's staring from the sideline now after ripping off a huge run and topping 100 yards for the 4th time this season, he's going to take a rest.
Albert Young on his 2nd carry today. He was tripped up by Kyle Williams. He picks up 6 on that 2nd down and 2, and he's up to the 12.
Adrian Peterson talked about the day that he has had. 16 carries, 107 rushing yards. 3 times he's been able to find the end zone, and this one was just a beautiful run. Untouched as he torched the Buffalo Bills secondary, blazing a trail into the end zone.
I don't know that there's a better combination of speed and power in the NFL.
Yeah, he kind of reminds you of what? O.J. Simpson, Gale Sayers, and Billy Sims all combined in one. You're right, a great mix of power and speed. I don't want to say unstoppable, but he's close to it.
Young picks up the 1st down in that previous play, and here he goes again. 3rd carry of the season. 1st carries of the season on this drive. Picks up 4. And then he was pounded as he got to the 16-yard line. Looked like Carrington may have gotten a hand on him.
Well, the one thing about Adrian Peterson, you just love watching him play. But when you talk to many of the people at this organization, they tell you what a hard worker he is. There's a hill just outside of the practice facility. They say every Tuesday, not when it's snowing, but after a Sunday game on Tuesday, which is the NFL players' day off, he's running that hill. Kind of reminds you of the Walter Payton type of work ethic that really virtually makes him an unstoppable force on offense.
2nd down and 6. Young. By Spencer Johnson, the ex-Minnesota Viking, on that defensive line for the Buffalo Bills. And a yard gain to the 17.
Kevin, let's now turn our attention to the job that Les Frazier has done in his first 2 games as the interim head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. We talked about some of his influences, Mike Ditka, Buddy Ryan, and Andy Reid, and what he learned from Tony Dungy. He said, yeah, I learned to be myself, not try to be anyone else. He said players will see right through that. He said of Tony Dungy, you know, he wasn't a screamer, but he was always in complete control of the team. And you can see that stoic-like behavior in Les Frazier.
Calm, collected.
And the players buy into it.
3rd and 5, Young. Hit by Brian Scott, brought down, no gain. Speaking of Leslie Frazier, we told you this was coming up. Back in that 85 season, now he could play some defensive back. He could dance.
The Bears shuffling crew. That's him there. That was that Super Bowl shuffle, 85 Bears team. They were a fun bunch, and you know, he was a great player.
He hasn't aged either. Look at him.
Yeah, he looks good.
He looks real good.
He was one heck of a player in his own right as a cornerback for the Chicago Bears.
Here's the punt by Chris Kluwe out of UCLA. Spiller is back. on the 38. And for 2-8, he finds a little bit of, see, there's a flag thrown on the play. He was knocked out of bounds across the way by Chad Greenway. Look at C.J. Spiller, 12-yard return, 45-yard punt. Clock at 5:45 here in the fourth quarter.
Bills just really haven't given themselves a chance today. Lots of penalties, lots of turnovers, as you talked about, Kevin.
Only score was a Drayton Florence interception return for a touchdown.
Ineligible player downfield, kicking team, number 97. The 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the kick. First down, Buffalo.
That's the rookie Everson Griffin. Look at Chan Gailey, first-year head coach for the Buffalo Bills. They've played so many recent opponents so close, but not today in Minneapolis.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Genworth Financial. And by Sears. Be the Santa you want to be. Find your Santa at Sears.com/Santa.
Here we are after the punt return, first down and 10. This is Jackson. And he was brought down on the play on the defensive line after a gain of 3 to the 40-yard line by LaTroy Guion. And now this is what is standing in front of the Vikings. They'll go to 5-7 after today. The Bears do come here for a Monday night. Green Bay beating San Francisco. Chicago, last I saw, was losing to Detroit.
Yeah, I think they're still in the hunt. They've got to continue to chop away. They're going to need some help. They're going to need the Bears and the Green Bay Packers to lose some games in the month of December just to get back in.
Let me update that. The Bears have taken a lead of 24-20 late against Detroit. Second down and 7 for Fitzpatrick. Going deep and looking for Evans. Incomplete as he was racing against the much-traveled veteran Frank Walker. 3rd and 7.
Yeah, the Vikings' upcoming schedule will provide some opportunities for them to make some plays next week against the New York Giants, so they can begin to get back into the wild card hunt. And then against the Chicago Bears, you could see that game you talked about, Kevin, on December 20th, then the Philadelphia Eagles. So those games within the NFC are going to be very important. A divisional game to close out the season against Detroit. So wins within the conference against some of those top teams are going to be vitally important. I'm sure Brett Favre plans on being a part of it.
Favre was knocked out on the 3rd play of the game. Look at his shoulder. It was fine. 3rd and 7. Boy, again. Great pressure. This time Robinson comes through. He is starting for the injured outside man, Ray Edwards. Coming from the end, Robinson finds the quarterback.
Yeah, he's been a force. Take a look at that. Just ripping right around the corner and getting a hit on Fitzpatrick, who's found himself on the ground all day.
Robinson is out of Texas. 4th and 7. They need the Minnesota 33. Under 5 to play. They've stopped play for some reason. I don't know if they're checking the clock or what. Well, the Twins used to play here. The Minnesota Golden Gophers used to play right here. They've left. They've built their own stadiums. Now the question is, will the Vikings perhaps get a new stadium? They'd like one.
Everyone gets taken care of now. I think the Vikings, it's their turn.
4th and 7. Caught Stevie Johnson. Then knocked out of bounds. Boy, he hit one of the camera people across the way. Stevie Johnson, who catches his 2nd ball today, a 28-yard catch and run to the 12 and a first down for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, you got to make these plays coming across the middle of the field. You've got to reward your quarterback, reward your coach for calling your number and making a catch. You saw him drop one in the early going of the game, Kevin. I think making that catch, it shows Chan Gailey that, he's going to stick with it, lock in, and as Coach said, he just needs to improve his ability to focus.
I believe Madieu Williams was on the coverage. Regardless, 1st and 10 from the Viking 12. To the end zone. Touchdown caught by Nelson. His first career NFL touchdown. The Florida Gator got one from Fitzpatrick, who has now thrown a touchdown pass in 13 consecutive games. Williams was victimized in the secondary for Minnesota.
Yeah, we told you they don't quit. There it is right there to Nelson, back of the end zone. over the top behind the linebackers, but in between the safeties. Enough protection time. Good throw from Fitzpatrick. Good catch by Nelson.
I like this Nelson.
I like this Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I do too.
Every time you watch him, you have to be impressed with the way he plays.
Tough day, though, for the Bills. That's a extra point by Lindell, who knocked in a 49-yarder last week with 2 seconds remaining against the Pittsburgh Steelers to send that one to OT. Well, tomorrow on CBS, just one look and you're hooked. The People's Choice nominee for favorite new TV drama, Hawaii Five-0. New episode tomorrow, only on CBS. I was mentioning before about a couple teams leaving this building. This week it came out that 2 different groups from Los Angeles have approached the Vikings about possibly relocating. One by a former guy who was in this city. Tim Leiweke was the former CEO of the Minnesota Timberwolves, now out with AEG in Los Angeles. They built the Staples Center, and there's a lot of talk now about what will happen to this team.
Kevin, I played here for the Minnesota Vikings, albeit a short period. 50 years they played here in this area, and they've got great legacy. I think it would be a tragedy. I would hate to see this team depart. To say that they're the Vikings, but yet play somewhere outside of the state of Minnesota. And there is Mr. Wilf, the owner. Ziggy Wilf, he's the owner, and trying to get a new stadium built here has not been easy, but hopefully the state legislature, I think, will see things differently. This is an owner who's been committed. I think this is a team with a proud legacy. When you think of this team, you think of Fran Tarkenton, you think of Carl Eller, you think of Alan Page, a wonderful citizen and a great player. And then you transition even to today's players, just a wonderful legacy. And I think this is a team that ought to stay in the area, quite frankly.
Over Albert Young's end. Well, he's got his own cheering section in his booth. That's pretty good. You got your own cheerleaders right there that can cheer for your owner. As we take a look at the game summary, we've had a couple different quarterbacks. Peterson with 3 touchdown runs, tying a career high in the Bills.
Yeah, and Adrian Peterson has been just wonderful. We said he was the straw that stirs the drink. Clearly he did in this game today. Tavares Jackson, up and down performers. The 3 interception, but saved by the presence and power and abilities of Adrian Peterson. I thought the defense for the Minnesota Vikings played well. As we take a look at Brett Favre.
1st and 10 on the touchback to the 20. Albert Young in the backfield. And hit on the play by George Wilson, a converted wide receiver, now playing in the secondary. It's a gain of 3. They'll mark him at the 23-yard line. And last game here, they lose to Green Bay 31-3. Chance of fire Childress, cascading down. Isn't it interesting just what a difference a couple of games make? And here you got a new interim coach who's going to have his 2nd consecutive win, first one at home, and things seem to be at least straightened out a little bit. The compass pointing in the right direction for Minnesota.
Every player that we've talked to, including Brett Favre, said that Les Frazier is going to be a successful head coach in the National Football League, and the way that he has this team trending, one might believe he'll get an opportunity beyond 2020 right here with the Vikings.
Adele with the tackle on Albert Young on that 2nd and 6. Chicago has won. They've beaten Detroit after trailing in that game. That is the fourth quarter comeback for the Bears this season. For the Bears, it just seems like everything has kind of fallen into place right now as they lead the North.
Les Frazier's former team, and that's what he's facing. How to get the Vikings back to the top of the NFC North Division, and not just for the final games of this year. If you have to go into the 2011 season without Brett Favre, what are you doing as an organization at the quarterback position? I think some of those things are under evaluation as we watch Tavares Jackson.
Here's a 3rd and 6. Chased by Stroud, caught by Klein Saucer. Knocked down by Pez Wozny. Did he get the first? They say he did. To the 31. Picks up 7 yards on the play. Well, this, Jackson was a high draft choice. He was a 2nd-round pick. They had a lot of promise for him earlier on.
Yeah, there's Klein Sasser out in the flat there. And he's able to get outside of the defense as Puslusny gives chase. But how about the movement and mobility? I think if you're Tavares Jackson, even if it's Brett Favre, the offensive lineman, the left guard and the starting right guard out of today's game, Herrera and Hutchinson, DeGuerre and Cook are in. But that's why you're seeing now the quarterbacks more on the move. They've struggled to protect the quarterback standing inside the box.
It's Young on 1st and 10. Jarris Berg got him up high and brings him down. After a gain of a couple, that could be the 2-minute warning. A gain they're going to say officially of a yard to the 32-yard line. So this is the first of 3 consecutive home games for the Minnesota Vikings, and they're going to try to make up some ground. They are alive and kicking, barely, but they are alive and kicking.
Yeah, I think all week you're going to hear, okay, it's Brett Favre going to start. We've heard that so many times throughout the 20 years he's been in the NFL. You shouldn't have to ask the question. If he can put the uniform on, he is going to continue that consecutive game start.
Vikings have hit the reset button with interim coach Leslie Frazier. Fitzpatrick's teammates began calling him the Amish rifle with that beard right there. He says he'll shave it off at the end of the season. Said last week Ike Taylor of Pittsburgh was pulling on that beard when he was tackling him. Second down and 9, 2-minute warning. Albert Young. Come on! And Posluszny makes the stop after a gain of 3 to the 35-yard line. And coming up the Subway postgame show, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for the latest news, scores, and highlights in the NFL. All coming up on the Subway postgame show. Well, the last 6 games for the Buffalo Bills, excluding today, 2 wins, 4 3-point losses, and 3 of those 4 losses came in overtime. They really had some nice momentum coming into today.
Yeah, I think that was the disappointment of Chan Gailey last week when he said good teams win those kind of games, and they had an opportunity to beat Pittsburgh, and he felt like they needed to pay it off or it was going to all be for naught. You can see it's gone for the worst here today in Minneapolis.
3rd and 6 in the run by Young, and he picks up 2, and they'll put him at the 37. And look at Brett.
Yeah, Brett Favre, he said that, you know, he loves the way that Les Frazier comes into the rooms. He has his points that he wants to make, and he didn't shy away. You know, Brett didn't shy away from the fact that Les said, hey, we want to get back to running the football well. The team paid it off today, over 200 yards rushing against the Bills defense. We
have a bit of history, by the way, with this Favre story. He left after 3 plays today. That is the earliest he has ever left a game in his career. He's played 20 seasons, made his 297th consecutive start today. This is the earliest he's been knocked out. This is Spiller. Away from Lieber, and then down on the play, and some pretty good pursuit. Jasper Brinkley is down there, and also Leffler, who was and that was Ben Lieber. That all kinds of guys down there making the stop. He loses 3 to Spiller on a 43-yard, well-placed Kluwe punt. So the Vikes will go to 5-7. 2nd consecutive win.
That's twice.
And the Buffalo Bills will drop to 2-10.
Well, we talked to Chan Gailey, and you know, we asked the question that everyone seems to be asking in Buffalo: who's the quarterback of the future? Is Ryan Fitzpatrick that guy? He says, I don't have to make a decision now. He said, let's allow it to play it out. Let's allow Ryan to continue to play. We're going to see where we stand at the end of the year. He said, I don't have to make that decision right now.
This is Fred Jackson. Kennedy couldn't pull down. Then you can see the avalanche of purple-clad defensive jerseys for the Minnesota Vikings converging on him. It's a gain of 5, and he's up to the 22, and that'll be it. That's the game. Les Frazier has now gone 2-0 as the interim head coach. Brett Favre played 3 plays today, was knocked out. A wave to his family. He and the Vikings win again. 38-14. For Solomon Wilcox, Kevin Harlan saying so long. Coming up, the Subway postgame show. We'll take you to New York for all the scores and news. After this, good afternoon from Minneapolis.